Hi everybody, welcome back. Okay, so I thought we would put some diamonds on here. Now, something for everybody to be aware of as you watch me do this. There is a reason I am single placing this sucker. It has a drill size versus canvas issue. The drills are incredibly tight, so I'm concerned about popping. I've already run into it. I've had to go back and fix it. You know, all those lovely things that we sometimes have to do. So, excuse me. What I am doing is checkerboarding. So for those of you who do not know what checkerboarding is, well, I'm going to show you here. Yes, it involves single placing, but after you've gotten in the groove for a few minutes here and your hand starts realizing what you're doing and your muscle memory kicks in, well, then it gets a lot quicker. I'm worried about sticking to canvas. That's a little different. Because I'm working in the center of this ribbon area right now. Then I will go and clear the sides today. And then I have something I need to work on of non-diamond painting importance. So what I'm doing is I'm placing every other diamond. Now I tend to go zigzag like this, up, down, up, down, up, down, as you see. Actually, let me zoom you in. Maybe you can see it better. There we go. Alright, so as you can see here, at the bottom of your screen, I'm placing a diamond, placing one up, placing a diamond, placing one up, and to the right. This is the beginning of your checkerboard. Okay. Now once I get across my space here, I will then come back and fill in those spaces. Now a lot of people will checkerboard an entire area and then fill it in. Me, I kind of work back and forth, back and forth. That's just me. That's what works for me. You kind of need to experiment and figure out what works best for you. You will find this method incredibly helpful for working on pieces with square diamonds that fit a little bit tight, or square diamonds in general. I don't tend to do this as much on square paintings just because I'm comfortable with multi-placing, period. This painting, however, like some others I've run into in the past, has got a minor issue that can be corrected by doing this. And what it is that there is an inconsistency in the drill size, and I am old and cannot see worth a darn. So I miss it once in a while, and then I have to go in and try and figure it out. Where did I make a mistake? Excuse me. How do I fix the mistake? Well, this way I can kind of selectively go, oh, well, that's a little bit tight space. Do I have a diamond that's slightly smaller? If I put my face right up on top of my diamond painting tray. I really need glasses, folks, but they're expensive, and right now it's hard to get eye exams from what I'm told. I don't leave home, folks. I'm not agoraphobic, necessarily, but I am high risk, and so I'm not allowed to leave home. And I'm sure when I get bronchitis, they're going to want to do a COVID test just as a precaution, and I'm going to go, nope, because I haven't left home. I have followed my doctor's orders. Now, I don't mind a COVID test if it is in the mouth and throat. If they're going through my nasal cavity, the answer is Yes, I have a legitimate reason for this. When I was a child, and I will forever remember this, I had constant nosebleeds. Just out of nowhere, my nose would start bleeding. And this was a daily thing, multiple times a day. And this went on for several months. So I had to go in to an ear, nose, and throat specialist who happened to be the doctor who did the 3 surgeries that reconstructed my hearing on each of my ears. So 6 surgeries in total, 3 on each ear. So I trusted him. I liked him. He was cool. And they had to cauterize the entire inside of my sinus cavity. Yeah, for those of you who do not know, I hope this does not freak anyone out. They had to, when they cauterize, it's a chemical burn. Okay? They had to chemically burn my entire sinus cavity. When you are an 8-year-old girl, that is a terrifying and painful experience. Let me tell you. So, yeah, that's why I don't want anybody messing around in my sinus cavity, because they could potentially reopen something in there. Now, some doctors believe that it can't be affected because it's been so long. Other doctors have told me that it is still a potential problem, so we're not playing with it. I don't go near anybody. I don't let anybody near me or my puppies. So, I'm good. Say hello. This is definitely my life. Okay, if I'm shadowing this, I am super sorry. I can't work at some weird angle for me and get these diamonds in the proper placement. Now, if I had you sitting up there, would be fine, but I can't work if you're laying flat either. Or if the diamond painting is laying flat because of my back. So, I am sitting in an awesome gaming chair with a lumbar pillow. Still need a better chair. Oh, it's crazy. For those of you who are new, 20 years ago, this month, on the 20th, that was the anniversary of the drunk driver hitting me and changing the course of my life forever. Am I bitter? No. Why not? Because, I should be, truthfully, in many ways. Because I traveled for a living all of the time. And I always missed my kids. I felt like I wasn't there as much as I wanted and needed to be for them. And I felt like I wasn't there as much as they needed me. Now, thank God I had my dad, because obviously he was raising the kids to what I believe they should be raised. And he, excuse me, he was utterly amazing. He was a truly incredible man. I miss him every day. Anyway, it's been a long time. He passed away in 2008, but I still miss him. So anyway, the car accident came with great cost to my health, but allowed me to be with my children. Now, where this diamond painting comes in play, and why this story is being told. Depression can really take hold, especially if you are like I was, and you've gone from a very active life to not being able to walk after you come out of a chemically induced coma, and you live in excruciating pain. And then you start working toward walking again, but the pain just won't stop. And there's just, it was insane, you guys. It was insane. And I thank the Lord every day that He pulled me through it. And I told you on the video announcing this diamond painting and why I was doing it, how He pulled me through it, how He used my dad and a beautiful, beautiful baby named Snowy, well, that I named Snowy, to bring me out of that very, very dark place in my life. So, where I'm leading to with this is that I now, and forever will, live with some very painful and degenerative health issues. I have fibromyalgia very severely, and for those I've heard recently, people saying, well, at least it's not degenerative. Yes, it is. It is not life-threatening. There's a difference. However, I also have degenerative disc disease and degenerative joint disorder. I am tachycardic, which is a problem with the regulation of my heart rate. I have asthma, which is bronchial asthma, and I've always had it, so that, yeah, I deal with it. I'm used to it. And there are a couple of other health conditions that I won't talk about at this point in time, because this isn't a pity party. This is, hey, these are the things that I deal with, and if you are dealing with things that are the same or similar, I'm here. You can talk to me. I get it. I really understand it. But it mostly explains why I'm so quiet and calm most of the time, because it's difficult for me to make sudden movements, and every time that I do, I pay for it pretty badly. And I happen to have, for those of you that are new, my son, my only son, biologically, is a United States Navy veteran who served in a war zone and was injured aboard ship in that war zone. He fell backwards off of a 12-foot tall ladder. We think he may have fallen from a slightly higher height because it appears that he was, up pretty high on that ladder. And when they estimate those feet, they say, well, this is how tall the ladder was. You have to also understand how tall my son is. So let's, consider a few extra feet in there. When he was injured, about 6 months later, we found out, and I think the Navy knew, and that's why they let him come home early when they found out that he wasn't going to re-up. Re-up being re-enlist. Or maybe he just had enough time built up. I don't know. But 6 months after his return home, he began having grand mal seizures. Now, prior to that, we thought he was just kind of zoning out. It turned out they were micro seizures and what are called partial complex. Now, the glitch to these seizures is that my son also has, and I say glitch as if this is casual because I'm used to it. Sorry, folks. He also has petite and grand malls, and he has the fifth and most rare type of seizure in the world, and that is something that they're trying to name at this point. Basically what happens is his brain goes into a fit of tiny, tiny seizures. And when I say fit of, it means they're happening one after the other, after the other, after the other. There's no break, but it's not one continuous seizure. So his brain begins attacking itself. And when that happens, and he's not the only patient in the world, it's just incredibly rare, these patients will begin hallucinating, and sometimes they become violent, and you have to have a caregiver who is prepared, knowledgeable, and ready to deal with it at any given moment. So I quite frequently have to jump up for a grand mal or a partial complex. And a couple of times we've had to deal with that exceptionally rare type of seizure. So when patients have grand mals, quite often, as they are in what's called a post-seizure recovery state, which means after the convulsing has stopped and they're still kind of out of it, they become violent. And they have no control over it. They don't know they're doing it. It's what it is. My son is prone to that. And he always feels so bad. And I've tried not telling him what happened, but then we've got to explain, the cuts and bruises on him and the scrape marks from the tile, and this time we had to explain injuries to other family members, including myself. Now, mine was not too bad. I hurt, I'm sore, I'm very, very swollen. But another family member was pretty severely injured. You think, oh, just call 911. Are you out of your minds? Seriously, let me explain how this works. I got news yesterday that an autistic boy who was in a violent state with his autism, his mother called 911 for help, and the police shot and paralyzed him. Okay. Well, that right there is why, the biggest reason I don't call 911. Because if he is in post-seizure state and he is aggressively charging these officers, they are either going to tase him and kill him, or they are going to shoot him and possibly kill him. No thanks. And when we've called 911 and had civilian medical come out, all they do is check his stats. They've given him oxygen once. Woohoo. And then they try to take him to a civilian hospital that doesn't know anything about what to do with him. And because he's a VA patient, then we have to pay those civilian hospital bills. That's a lot, folks. It's a lot. So yeah, this is what my day-to-day is. And I have a puppy who has grand mal seizures from stress as well. that is my ladybug. And right now I have a pup who has something very, very wrong with her ear inside of her face, that they need to get this damn stimulus pack out so that I can get her to the doctor and pray that they can help her and not tell me that I need to put her down, because honestly, I don't know that I can handle that right now. So, yeah, that, you hear that popping? That means the drills are too tight. Rounds should not pop. Okay. So, my accident led me to being able to be home and be a mom the way I wanted to be a mom. It led me to finding out through some pretty difficult circumstances that I was still worth something, and I was still worthy of love and life and all of the things that sometimes when we are having a hard time, we forget that we are very worthy of and that we need and we deserve. Please, guys, if you are in a current position where you feel like you're not worthy, where you feel like you don't deserve to be loved, please reach out to somebody, whether that be me or somebody else, because you are worthy and you do deserve to be loved. Believe me, it's been a lesson hard learned for me, but I learned it. And I also had to learn that sometimes an innocent mistake can get pretty twisty and make you feel like you're alone, and you have to find a way to remind yourself that you're really not. And that can be even more difficult. I'm sorry that this turned out to be such a depressing subject. It certainly was not intended to. This diamond painting makes me think of all of the struggles that myself and many of you go through. It makes me think of sharing with you some of the struggles that I have been through or currently deal with that make this diamond painting so important. Now, Purple Door Crafts made a comment in her live last night that reminded me of my Michelle. You know, Michelle said it perfectly, and Sherry reminded me very much that it is okay not to be okay. But you can't stay on that pity train for too long. You gotta pick yourself back up. And the reason that I say Michelle is part of this is because she has taught me that, okay, you can have a day where you feel sorry for yourself and you feel like the whole world is against you, and fine, that's, you know, that's allowed. You deserve that. Everybody has those days. But come the following day, and this first part of the statement is figurative because, you know, it's not physically possible for everybody, but get off your ass, dust yourself off, and let's move forward. Look at it and go, okay, next. Yep. That is exactly, I think, the right way. Although I will tell you, sometimes it takes me a couple of days of being on that pity train to get off of it. because it sometimes takes a few days for the physical pain to stop. So, my Michelle calls me nearly every night, and even if it's a night where, you know, she's not planning to call and I need her, I tend to call her, or I'm worried about her. Usually that's what it comes down to. And if she has this feeling that she needs to call me, little snot is almost always right. 99.9% of the time, she's got it on the nose. She'll call me anyway. When she's in the hospital, we cannot video chat. And we both desperately miss each other at that point, even though we're talking on the phone. It's different because we can't see each other. And that sucks, but we deal with it, we get through it, we move on. The rest of the time we video chat almost every single night. And she is my support system. She is my confidant. She is my little sister. She is my best friend. I am so grateful to diamond painting, believe it or not, because diamond painting was what brought me my Michelle. So even if and when I ever stop diamond painting, that's okay. From this came the most feisty, loving, amazing, strong woman I have ever known in my life. Now, please keep in mind, I was a professional vocalist throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. My career ended in September of 2000 due to the accident. I also worked during that time as a nurse, working with the U.S. military whenever I was not on tour. So I've worked constantly. You know, it was crazy. I was trying to raise kids while I was working all the time. So that's why I say the accident brought something very good, and that was a chance to spend time with and really be a mother to and get to know my children. Now, that's not to say that if you work 2 and 3 jobs to provide for your children that you're not a mother, because you certainly are. My goodness. It's to say that for me, personally, I wanted and emotionally needed to be physically present for my kids, and that accident, I guess, was the Lord's way of allowing me to have it. You know, whenever we ask for something, there's always an opposite side to something. There's always, you know, action and reaction, cause and effect, all of that. I'm not saying God caused the accident, because I don't think he did, that's for sure. But what I'm saying is that that may have been the only way to get me out of my contract and allow me to have that one thing that I hadn't done in my life that I desperately wanted and emotionally needed to do. And that was to be home with my kids. So do I hold resentment to the man who physically did all of this to me? No. No, in all honesty, I do not, because what good will that do me? That eats my heart up. Doesn't hurt him, he doesn't know. He doesn't care. He was drunk. What the heck, you know? But it's okay, because through that suffering came a great gift. A few great gifts, actually. The chance to be with my children. The chance to spend time with my dad for a few years before he would subsequently pass on from cancer. And it brought me my eskies, you know? So, if I had to go through it again, would I? I got asked that recently by somebody in real life. Yeah. Honestly, if that was the only way that those three things were going to happen, yeah. Yes, I would. I would knowingly take that same route at that same time of day. Because the kids, my dad, my babies, they are my everything. My grandchildren, you know. So I guess what I'm saying is, when you feel like you are in that darkest place that you do not know how to climb out of, and you feel like there is no way out of it but to take yourself out of the equation, please don't. I beg of you, please don't. Because you will end your suffering at that moment, yes. But it will create suffering for the people who love you that you at that moment may not realize love you. Because you're stuck in whatever that thing is that is hurting you. And sometimes when things are seemingly at their darkest, it really is right before the brightest and most wonderful parts of our life are about to begin. Sometimes we have to go through hard things to get to the happy rewards on the other side. So it is okay not to be okay. But you also need to give yourself a chance to go through it and then pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and do a thing that I call new day, new attitude. I shoved that turned into a diamond painting. Anyway. So I'm going to let you go. I don't know how much of this will get edited out. I don't know if this will make it out to you. Because I never know until I review them. Yesterday I filmed 8 videos and none of them made the final cut. So, because I was very frustrated about something and I didn't feel like putting it on YouTube. Even though at that moment I felt like yelling at the people who were frustrating me. So, you know, you never know with me. I try to keep as much as possible positive on my channel. But sometimes there are things like this where we need to address the tough things. And the reason we need to address it is to help each other. So, if you have that opportunity to reach a hand out, to give somebody a hand up, please do. You would be amazed, absolutely amazed, at how much one simple act of decency or kindness can change not only someone else's life, but yours. So, on that note, I am going to go get some coffee. My thoughts and prayers are with all of you, as they always are. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will hopefully finish this diamond painting this weekend or sooner. Okay? I will talk to you all later. Bye.